Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to some more New York Jets franchise. Today we've got the off-season video. This year we I wouldn't say overperformed, but under the guidance of Coach Xavier Foster, Mike Ward has blossomed as a rookie into something special, and you're going to see in just a second. He is officially a superstar. Why is Mason Taylor right there, left guard? That's not going to happen. So it seems, Mason Taylor, you're not playing center, buddy. We're definitely gonna have to go after a a center. I already scouted some. There's one that's supposed to go in the third to fourth who looks like he's a 2 to 3 round talent. So we could have a new center. But this is the problem with this team. We don't really have much depth on the team at all. And we're going to also need to get like a veteran quarterback for pretty cheap. Mike Ward is a superstar dev 92 overall quarterback. He's only 22 years old, out of Oklahoma State. He cemented himself as one of the best. He's already top 6. Look at those stats. This is with the boost, of course, but still. He looks like a dog. He's not the fastest, but he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL as it stands. And you can see right here, motivation / tags award winner franchise quarterback. That's what we need. We have our quarterback for a couple more years. I believe he's on a 4-year contract. So he's going to be going into his year 3. So he's got 3 years left. We might have just got our Super Bowl window right here. Mike Ward played like a beast. He played like a beast in his first career year. Now he's going to be going into his second. But here's the thing. We've seen guys like CJ Stroud perform really good in his first year, like MVP level. But then the next year, he kind of went stale. He kind of underperformed. His expectations were high, and he kind of wet the bed, you could say. He didn't do the best. Hopefully that's not the case for Mike Ward. Hopefully Mike Ward, if we can get him a veteran quarterback to help back him up, maybe, just maybe, we can get him MVP this year. He finished 3rd on the MVP list behind Jalen Hurts and somebody else. I think it was Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts did eventually go on to win that MVP trophy, but Mike Ward is starting to slowly have a little bit more interest in us. Now, he doesn't have the best. He does like the fact that we kind of have a big market. He doesn't really like we have something about income tax. And he's most likely just willing to take the highest offer. Mike Ward, we're going to try our best to re-sign him as we can, but I can't promise we'll be able to keep everybody on the team. The Super Bowl window is now. Like, if we don't win the Super Bowl within the next 3 years, we could possibly look at never winning it. Because Mike Ward, he's a good quarterback. I will admit, he is a really good quarterback. But you kind of need a good team around him to win games. And we just don't have a lot of money to keep a bunch of guys. But if we can get Mike Ward, we can probably definitely we're going to re-sign him, but if those 3 years come by quickly and we don't win a Super Bowl within that span, this team is going to look like significantly worse than we are now, if I had to guess. Unless Mike Ward just absolutely dominates, I don't know. He could destroy everybody. For all I know, he could basically do what Joe Burrow did if Joe Burrow had a defense. But we'll just have to see. For now, though, he does have superstar dev. We're going to need to get that backup quarterback. Breece Hall. I do think he is going to be on the trade block for me. ETN, he has solidified himself as a pretty solid running back. He got that 142 yards in the game against Buffalo. But my problem with Breece Hall, he's got injured every single season we've played with him. In year one, he got injured twice. So he missed out. He only got 500 yards. But this last season, he did do pretty well when he wasn't injured. So that basically proves that he is a good running back when he's not hurt. He was only 31 yards away from having his first ever 1,000-yard season. It's just a shame we couldn't get that because he got injured the last game of the season. And what really hurts me with him, he was injured the entirety of the playoffs, leaving the responsibility to Travis Etienne and Rico Dowdle, who did unfortunately retire. So we're going to have to probably maybe go draft a backup running back, a young guy, or we could just sign one in free agency. We could look to sign a backup running back in free agency, but if push comes to shove, we might just have to trade Breece Hall to get up to that number 6 or number 10 pick, because that's where our future D tackles are. I either want Cam Dunn or Trevante Bridges. Cam Dunn, he performed very well at the combine, but his overall stats as an athlete isn't the best. But Trevante Bridges, he is a pure athlete. He has elite in almost every single statistics except for two, which is speed and something else, probably strength. I don't know. But he has elite in almost everything. Trevante Bridges looks like a stud. The tight end group, I feel like, is secure. If we can get a solid center, which I have a feeling we very well can, I want to take one of the. I really want to take one of those two guys, Trevante Bridges or Cam Dunn. I will trade up for them. Probably trade Breece Hall or somebody. I don't know. Garrett Wilson does go down. He regresses from superstar to star dev, which is kind of saddening. We don't have a superstar dev receiver anymore, which is going to kind of hurt us. Now, Garrett Wilson didn't perform that good, and if he's already regressing, that's not a good sign. He's only 27, though, so he has a chance to get it back. But you don't like seeing that superstar dev. Yeah, regression hit him hard. You really don't like to see it. He was our leading receiver, though. But the thing is, he lost that superstar dev, which is gonna hurt my care at all for him. Well, I'm still okay with him, but the thing is, he went from superstar dev all the way down to star dev. Yikes. But he does have a good quarterback to help him try to get back up to that superstar. We need to get a superstar playmaker on this team to help us out. Because right now we don't have any. Now the defense, we definitely need a defensive tackle. We just don't have one. We don't have a good one. Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald, they performed actually pretty solid all year. They're one of the leading rushers on the team. Sauce Gardner, he is a 97 overall, so he did regress a little bit. He was 99, but regression happens. Azariah Thomas, considered one of the best in the AFC. 23 years old, so he's not old. He's not that old at all. So we're probably going to keep him. I was thinking about trading him, but now I've changed my mind. I don't think I want to trade Azariah Thomas because having a guy like this might not be so bad. He's already considered one of the best corners in the AFC, a top 10 corner. I think it's best we keep him. These linebackers, I'd say they perform quite well. If we can get a second playmaker on this team, then that'd be great. My goal is to get one of those two D tackles. The secondary, yeah, we kind of struggled. Maybe getting a guy who is a playmaker in the secondary. Now, we have decent secondary players like Tony Adams, Julian Blackman. They were pretty good. Andre Cisco, or Darius Washington, they're solid players, but the problem is they allow too much. We can definitely allow teams to less points and less yards if we have a playmaker. Because games like this are the reason why we need a playmaker. We really started off the game slow and never picked up the pace. Baltimore dropped 24 in the second quarter. We can't be having that. Now, I get we struggled against the Bills, but we eventually came back around. And that wasn't the case with the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore just destroyed us. They they put their foot on the back of our neck and never lifted it up until the end of the game. Mike Ward, he had a solid game. His passer rating wasn't the best. He got sacked twice. Joe Tippmann allowed a little bit too much to happen. 24 for 44. This is what could have got us to the Super Bowl if we didn't allow this. Two guys on Baltimore to get over 100 rushing yards. Man, my allergies are killing me. But yeah, Baltimore had over 200. Actually, let's see. Let's count it. 238 rushing yards just from three. Actually, no. 224 rushing yards from two guys on 24 carries. Yeah, we can't do that. We cannot do that. 3 touchdowns from Lamar. Neither one of them fumbled. But this man did. Travis Etienne, who didn't do it all season, fumbled at the biggest moment to start off the game. Now for receiving, we did do pretty well. I will admit we did pretty solid. Baltimore, they had one guy. Well, actually, they had another, I'm pretty sure, but he retired. Wait, no, that was Zay Flowers. They had Zay Flowers, but Zay Flowers is no longer a member of the Baltimore Ravens, which I will get to that now. As you can see, we only have $27 million in cap space, but guys like Kyle Hamilton and Zay Flowers, who cooked us, Kyle Hamilton getting the only pick of Mike Ward's AFC Championship debut, he got the only pick. And they have significant, not slight interest, not decent interest, significant interest. So all we have to do is put in a tiny offer, and considering there's no teams offering a contract to him yet, he's 93 overall, superstar dev, strong safety, 26 years old. Him and Sauce Gardner could be one of the best DB groups in the league. That'd be crazy. But Zay Flowers, he could definitely help replace DeAndre Hopkins for sure. Imagine having Garrett Wilson and Zay Flowers on the same team. But we need to bolster up this defense. We don't have much going for us defense-wise. But we are going to look at Justin Fields. He has no offers on him because he's wanting way too much for a guy who sat pretty much all season behind Michael Ward. Will Levis is here. We need a quarterback who has the mentor tag. Ooh, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm sorry, Deshaun, but that's a tough one. Marcus Mariota. He's a relatively cheap option with the mentor tag. Danny Dimes. He's already 30 years old and has the mentor tag. Cooper Rush, Drew Lock. Joshua Dobbs. Not a bad idea, but I want to try to get the cheapest mentor you can possibly think of. Joshua Dobbs, he is a veteran at 32 years old, which is crazy to think. Daniel Jones winning 18 mil a year. Marcus Mariota, he is a pretty solid mentor. He is a former Heisman winner, so there's that. But for now, I do want to put in an offer for Kyle Hamilton. You can see right there, our strong safeties, they're all right. Not the best, but they're borderline 70 overall. Now, then again, Tony Adams, he usually leads the team in tackles, but he did get injured. I'm going to put a lot in for Kyle Hamilton. We are going to be his only offer as it stands. Now, I seriously doubt we're going to be able to offer Zay Flowers. Yeah, we could pretty much only get one massive guy right now. We can definitely look at receiver in the draft, but we do need to get a good veteran QB. Sean Watson. How much you wanting? Oh boy. Oh no, we could definitely get him. Well, at least it's not a freaking $200+ million contract. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. We don't speak of this. This is between me and you. Deshaun, don't mention it to anybody. Okay? Do not mention it to anybody. I repeat, anybody. If you do, we're gonna have some issues. Well, here's our our one offer. Because we're not mentioning the other one. Uh, we're only doing it because he's got mentor tag and he's veteran QB for cheap. We're not gonna mention it though. We only got one offer. I'm gonna say it. Oh, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We just boosted up our DB group significantly. We got none other than Kyle Hamilton to come to the New York Jets. And then we also got nobody else. We don't got anybody else on the team. We have two quarterbacks now, but we didn't sign anybody else. I repeat, we did not sign anybody else. Kyle Hamilton had significant interest in us. He saw how good we were. He saw we had potential to win the Super Bowl. He liked how good Mike Ward played. He likes how good we are as a team in general. We told him a little bit about our plans, and he's hooked. We have Kyle Hamilton now to join up with Sauce freaking Gardner, which is good. Sauce Gardner is going to definitely get some help. He's now going to have another very, very, very good player on defense. It's not Quinnen Williams, but it is Kyle Hamilton. And it seems Zay Flowers goes to the Rams, so the Rams are going to actually end up replacing Devontae Adams. Marlon Humphrey goes to Philly. Yikes. Brian Branch goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Or I guess Jacksonville Jaguars. But that Kyle Hamilton signing is a big one. I wasn't expecting to be able to sign him, but here we are. That's going to be a big help to our Super Bowl chase for sure, because defense allowed a little bit too much against the Ravens, and the fact that the Ravens lost pretty much almost all their main guys on defense and one of their main players on offense, that's going to help us a lot, and Ravens are not going to do good. If the Ravens do good, it's going to be because their offense is overpowered. But Jamel Dean goes to the Steelers. There still seems to be a bunch of guys left over. We can get a guy for cheap, then we might be able to actually get. I want to get a cheap running back. Let's see, what is the best cheap running back we can get? I think Bixby has two offers on him. Dameon Pierce could be a pretty decent offer. We can manage to actually get something. And now we don't have the highest bid for him, but if we can get a good number two, now a bunch of teams are offering for him. And now the Buccaneers have a significantly better offer than ours. So if my best guess is true, I believe Dameon Pierce will probably be a running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And now to check the college pro days, Trevante Bridges, how did he do? Oh my, he did significantly better at his pro day. He's still a great athlete, but geez Louise, he did excellent. first, 8th, ninth, 17th. He's still not the fastest D tackle, but I am not worried about speed. I am worried about how good you are as an athlete and your skill set. And you, good sir, even though you're considered a speed rusher, you're not that fast, but you can get off a block. Well, meaning like not block shed or power moves, but like finesse moves is great, play rec is great. So he's not going to get fooled too much by the handoffs and like read options. Now, Cam Dunn did do a little bit worse, but then again, he did a little bit better. Actually, no, he did significantly worse at his pro day than previously thought. He did get a little faster. He didn't do nearly as much on the bench press. He didn't do nearly as much on the bench press. His vert got a little worse. His broad jump 9 inches shorter. He got faster on the 3-cone drill and the 20-yard shuttle. So he did slightly improve, but then again he slightly regressed in those categories, and his stats are still the same. How did a guy like Tim Milner do? He didn't do nearly as good as before. He still somehow a 4.24 is not the fastest. You're telling me there's someone faster? Well, there kind of is, but technically there's not. Fastest you can get is 4.24, so maybe Cam Blanton has 99 speed as well. It's just his skill set sucks. He's a terrible receiver, but he could be a decent running back. Now, I could look to draft one of these guys, move him over to running back, because our receiving core is pretty solid as it stands. We still have Garrett Wilson, Rashid Shaheed, Darius Etienne. Those guys are still good. We only lost D-Hop, so the offense shouldn't take too much of a dip. As long as we don't get injured, we should have a bunch of guys still performing quite well. But getting a guy like Cam Blanton, if we do actually end up getting rid of Breece Hall, we could still move these guys from anywhere. He could have pretty solid juke. He would be an elusive back for sure. He's not really that good of a power back. Stiff arm wouldn't be great. His trucking probably wouldn't be great. His break tackle, it could be all right or it could be absolutely terrible. Who knows? But Cam Blanton could be a running back alongside Tim Milner. Oh, crap. Dom Phillips. He's not that good at catching, but he is a little bit taller, and he performed quite well at both the Pro Day and the Combine. Not the best, but he did do quite well. Elite speed. Now, his acceleration isn't the best. He has a spec catch, a deep route, so this man is pretty much only a deep ball getter. He isn't really the best at catching, but he can catch in traffic, and he can spec catch. If this man did anything other than spec catch and catching in traffic, maybe he could be something. But for now, it doesn't seem like. Now, he's more of a deep ball guy than anything. Spec catch is the best, but yeah, I don't think he's a round one projected guy. He's good, but he's not good enough. And it seems like either Ethan Crawford or Jorge Sierra. We do need a center, because we could just move Joe Tippmann over to left guard. He already plays that position a lot more than you would think. We definitely don't want to have Mason Taylor as our starting center. So if we can have a guy like Jorge Sierra or Ethan Crawford as our starting center as a rookie, yeah. Jorge Sierra looks like an incredible, he looks like a pretty solid center. He did amazing at the Combine and the Pro Day. Said he's supposed to go in round 3 to 4. Yeah, right, buddy. That's not true. He looks incredible, though. And his skill set looks just as good as his Combine. The only thing he struggles with is probably going to be run block finesse, run block power, and impact blocking. He's not the best run blocker, but he's not the worst. He's pretty solid at it. But Ethan Crawford looks nearly just as good. This man had one of the best combines out of anybody. Now his skill set isn't nearly as good, but it's still pretty solid. He's a pretty solid pass blocker. He's a pretty solid run blocker. This guy's a well-rounded guy. Him and Jorge Sierra, they're two really good centers who are underrated. It says they're supposed to go around 3 to 4. Yeah, right, buddy. These two guys look absolutely incredible. If we can get a good center, we'll just move Joe Tippmann over to left guard so he can play that position so we ain't got to worry too much about that spot. And we'll have a pretty solid line that shouldn't really ever give up a sack. Well, obviously you're going to give up one, but we shouldn't really give up many sacks this year if we can get a guy like Ethan Crawford or Jorge Sierra. And now mock draft 5, the one that pretty much spoils it. I don't think anybody was surprised. Billy Haynes going number 1. Now he's not quite a top 5 talent, but he is a round 1 talent. So that could still mean he's the 6th best talent on the board, or it could mean he's 32. But Trevante Bridges moves up to number 5. Oh no, that's gonna be much more difficult to get him then. Cam Dunn remains at 10. So that's not looking good for us. We're going to have to trade into the top 5, which makes it significantly more difficult. And it's saying we're going to take Jorge Sierra. I don't doubt that. But the thing is, that is a significant reach for a guy of Jorge Sierra's caliber. Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. I will try my best. My goal is to try to get Trevante or Cam Dunn. And then eventually in like the 2nd or 3rd round, go after a guy like Jorge Sierra or the other center. And now for free agency, it seems we've got some more signings. Tony Pollard going back to Tennessee. Jamel Dean. Yaya Diaby. Grover Stewart going to Atlanta. So the 33-year-old taking his talents to Atlanta, Georgia for a chance to potentially go to the Super Bowl with this team who surprisingly dominated in the playoffs. They didn't really have to worry too much about like losing because they kind of scored a lot of points and their defense held the other team. But we do have Dameon Pierce who's still taking offers. We can't really offer much more money than what we have now. Tampa Bay just seems to have offered him a lot more than we can offer. So Dameon Pierce, as expected, goes to Tampa Bay. We couldn't really offer him much, so we're going to have to go after a guy like Rachaad White, but we just won't have much money. So we're going to have to try to lower our deal. It's not that strong of an offer, so he's definitely going to wait a second to take one. But he doesn't really have many. So that's all we're going to be able to do. He still hasn't signed yet. These are our only 2 signings that we have got. So in our last week of free agency, Rachaad White's still a free agent. And we do manage to get Rachaad White. So if we want to get rid of Breece Hall, we've got a backup running back to help our starting one, Travis Etienne. So Travis Etienne shouldn't be completely lonely. Rachaad White should definitely help be that good second string running back. Breece Hall will definitely free up a bunch of cap space. So getting Rachaad White is just, I wouldn't say a confirmation that we can get rid of Breece Hall, but it's a pretty big step in the right direction. We got 3 guys, or I guess technically 2, that would really help the team, and one that's just there to be a mentor. But Kyle Hamilton surprisingly doesn't have any tags on him. You would think he would be some type of, like, I don't know, he'd have some kind of tag about him being good. Rachaad White, he's 28 years old. He's a solid running back. He's star dev, so we'd continue that trend. So, is it time to get rid of Brees Hall and try to get a D tackle? So, this is basically going to be the recap of how free agency went. Jacksonville got the top prize of this year's free agency period. Brian Branch, the X Factor safety from the Lions, ends up taking his talent to Jacksonville alongside Travis Hunter to help boost up that defense. That defense could look pretty scary, if you ask me. And then Kyle Hamilton, our major signing. Somehow we signed him. I don't quite know how. He has significant interest in us, mainly because we are a Super Bowl contending team. We are in the hunt for the Super Bowl title. We were one game away from actually making it, but all we needed was a big defensive player to help us get to that point. So Kyle Hamilton hopefully is that guy. Zay Flowers goes to Los Angeles to help replace Devontae Adams, who just retired. Marlon Humphrey goes to Philly to help boost up even more that absolutely crazy Philadelphia defense. Tony Pollard just returns to Tennessee. Jamel Dean goes to Pittsburgh. Cleveland trying to replace their offensive lineman that they just lost to retirement. Diaby. Grover Stewart trying to follow the trend and go to Atlanta to potentially win a ring. They definitely needed one. They definitely needed a tackle. That defense is already good, but getting a guy like Grover Stewart is going to be big time. Andrew Van Ginkel goes to Panthers. Zach Charbonnet goes to Washington. Washington getting a couple guys. Tank Bigsby goes to Indianapolis alongside Jonathan Taylor, who is already a really good running back in his own. And we end up getting a running back by the name of Rachaad White to probably help replace Breece Hall if we do try to trade. Because Breece Hall, yeah, he's a good running back. But the thing is, though, he's gotten injured way too much for us. You could say I gave up too quickly on him, just like I gave up on Quinnen Williams. But then again, you got to remember, Quinnen Williams was a little bit older. He was like 27, 28, not really producing much. He was an X Factor, and we were pretty much terrible that season. So we needed to give up on him, get what we could from him. I felt we won the trade. And then Jair Brown, the superstar dev corner or safety, goes to Philly. So Philly's going to have two really good defensive players. Him and Marlon Humphrey. Man, that's going to be a scary defensive back group. As if their defense isn't already dominant, they're going to have a pretty solid DB group. But luckily, we are not in the NFC, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Tennessee gets Jordan Brooks to help boost up that linebacking core, so they're trying to help Cam Ward out by getting him a much better defense. Dameon Pierce, the man we were planning on going after, goes to Tampa Bay. And I'll just scroll through so you can see all these signings. Kayvon Thibodeau goes to Los Angeles, but this time for the Chargers. Chargers maybe might be a sneaky defensive group. Dalton Kincaid, the man who we kind of struggled against a little bit in the playoffs, goes to Denver. DeMarvion Overshown, my best friend, likes him a lot as a player. He really thinks he's good. He's out of Texas. Now, we'll admit, DeMarvion Overshown is a beast. But the thing is, he's going to Carolina. North Kakalaki. Harrison Phillips goes to Green Bay. Justin Simmons, I believe, I don't think he ever played for Tennessee, but for whatever reason, him going to Tennessee just looks so correct. It looks right. Quentin Johnston. Oh, brother. So the Chargers aren't going to have their receiver anymore. Except, well, actually, they do. They have Ladd McConkey and Will Dissly. Nick Chubb just retired, so they needed to get They needed to get a running back, but they don't. Now, not too many names here anymore. Dawson Knox leaves. Whoa, Buffalo is out of tight ends. They're out of their good tight ends. Dawson Knox and let's see, where is he at? Dalton Kincaid. They both leave Buffalo. Buffalo failing to re-sign him probably because of that massive contract to Josh Allen. And now to look at private workouts. I want to try to look at some guys that could be potential steals. But let's see. We are going to look at some receivers. I definitely want to look at Tim Milner. Tim Milner's definitely one. Uh, I don't really want to trade up too far for a certain guys. I don't think it's worth it. Cam Blanton, he could be a guy. Chase Robinson, he looks pretty solid. So I'll mark him down. I'll mark Tim Milner down. And then if I can, I want to mark a center down. Lawson looks really good. He looks really good. It's just a shame that, well, they're at the spot they are. I didn't think Lawson was going to be that bad, but apparently he's just terrible. So our three players are going to be Chase Robinson, Tim Milner, and Kentrell Kelly. So it seems Tim Milner is actually considered a round one prospect. Quite interesting, I'd say. Well, let's try to go look at some of the others. It seems Chase Robinson is considered a first-round talent as well. And the day 3 guy is also considered a potential UDFA, which is kind of shocking. It really is. So there's really only 3 good enough centers that we could take. But we'll be able to because we got to kind of trade up. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2027 NFL Draft. Bunch of teams lost some very important guys in retirement and free agency. Baltimore, they won Super Bowl, but they kind of lost almost all their best players. Now they kept Lamar and Derrick Henry. Somehow Derrick Henry hasn't retired yet. He wants to run it back with another. But the first pick of the draft, of course, Chicago really liked this man. They wanted to go after a D-tackle, so they decided to go after the best player in the draft. Well, actually considered the best player in the draft. Only round 1 talent, though. They might have just got their guy. He did pretty freaking well for himself. Probably one of the best combines and pro days I've seen. He did incredibly well. Billy Haynes, they might have just got their guy. They still got Quinnen Williams, I'm pretty sure. I believe so. But New Orleans is on the clock. In New Orleans, they needed a bunch of positions. I believe they have a quarterback. And the fans appear not to kind of not like this pick that much. Which, then again, Saints fans are very ungrateful for a lot of things. Strait is the first pick for the Saints. Quarterback Clayton Strait. They just lost their own quarterback, Tyler Shuck, to free agency. They never really believed in him, which I don't blame them. Clayton Strait is going to be the new QB of the New Orleans Saints. And now the Cardinals, they could have went many, many different ways. And the number 3 pick, which we had last year, they're going to pick this man. They're going to pick Evans. So, the same spot we had last year, Arizona goes a right edge rusher. Brandon Evans. Now, whether he'll pan out to be nearly as good as Mike Ward, that's kind of a different story. But Trevante Bridges is slated to go at 5. Can we pull a cuck move and trade up to 4 right before the Colts have a chance to take him? So we managed to trade up to number 4. We trade away Breece Hall, a first, a second, a fifth, and a sixth to get up to number 4. We wanted to get our guy, Breece Hall. He got injured a lot. The Rams just lost. Actually, no, it was the Chargers. The Rams don't have Cam Akers. But now they're going to have a running back by the name of Breece Hall. Breece Hall probably feels betrayed right now. But then again, we don't care. Well, I'm sorry, but we do. But he could probably have a better shot at getting 1,000 yards there. We were trying to get him 1,000 yards here, but, well, injury. 3 injuries in 2 straight years. I don't like the trajectory of his career. I don't really like how it is. I feel giving up this amount is fair because it is a top 5 draft pick, which we are going to make possible. With the number 4 pick in the 2027 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select. We could have went many different ways. We could have went center. We could have went D tackle, which we did. We have talked about this man all freaking year. We said he was going to be great. He looked like an excellent athlete, and we hope he can be that and much more. He's ranked 15th, and he is hidden development. This man, he's only 74 speed, but he looked incredible. This man is a pure athlete. Now, he is injury prone, but who freaking cares? Trevante Bridges looks like a stud. Now, Cam Dunn could have been better, but we're not going to argue with the fact that Trevante Bridges is one of the best athletes, if not the best athlete in this draft. His acceleration, 87. This man and Shamar Turner are going to wreak havoc on teams for years. Usually when you get a D tackle out of Georgia, it's a good thing. So hopefully this is a good thing. He's 21, so he's got plenty of time to dominate. Now that we took Trevante Bridges, are the Indianapolis Colts still going to go D tackle? And it seems like they do. They go DJ Jones. So they don't go Cam Dunn, who's slated to go at 10. The Packers are going to go D tackle as well, getting Clayton Randall. Packers want to try to build up that defense. They don't have Micah Parsons. And it seems the Vikings want to go left tackle, try to help out that young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. Now the Dolphins, they did just lose their starting receiver and future Hall of Famer, I'd say, in Tyreek Hill. And they don't go receiver. They needed one bad, and they don't go after one. Quite a shame, really. So they don't go the position they probably need a lot. They have Jalen Waddle, and I believe that's it. The Panthers trying to boost up that defense. They have a pretty solid defense. They went out in free agency and made a bunch of massive moves. And they're looking to try to get younger. Michael Hurd, the D tackle. And it seems the Giants are still going to go Cam Dunn. Cam Dunn was probably a great D tackle. If it wasn't him, it was Trevante Bridges. It was one of those two. Well, Billy Haynes would have went number 1 either way. So we were fine. And now Pittsburgh goes Jamal Hoskins corner. Pretty solid pick for them. Houston, my Texans, go receiver. Very much needed. They don't really have the best receiving core in the league. They got Nico Collins and I think Tank Dell. He's not injured anymore. So they go receiver. But Deshaun Priestley, he looked pretty freaking good. He was one of the best receivers in the class, and apparently he's considered the best receiver after being drafted. Josh Goodwin going to that absolutely stacked Jacksonville defense squad. They just got Brian Branch, and I think they want to try to make that DB group one of the best in the league by getting a guy named Josh Goodwin, and in Cleveland goes edge rusher Russ Pierce. Broncos go left tackle. Kansas City goes left tackle. And San Francisco also goes left tackle. So it seems left tackles are now starting to go off the board drastically. Luckily, we don't really need one, as Cincinnati finally going to get Joe Burrow some help. Joe Burrow is starting to turn into Andrew Luck, if I'm going to be honest. Washington goes corner. They haven't really had the best corner group in a while. The Raiders go right edge rusher. They definitely needed some help on that defense. They couldn't stop Baltimore in the playoffs. So now they're going to try to get their offense some help by getting a really good defender. And then Marco Morales goes to the Chargers. Seahawks take center. They want to try to boost up that O-line just a little bit. Philadelphia, who already has a really good defense. They just got Marlon Humphreys and another defender. They're going to continue to try to make this defense unstoppable. They're going to try to make it to where you can't even score a field goal on them. I don't blame them. New England goes left guard, the spot that we kind of desperately need. Well, we're going to move Joe Tippmann over. Derek Smith, free safety, goes to Tennessee. They just got Justin Simmons, so I don't know how that's going to work out. Cowboys take right tackle, Morgan Turner. He looks incredible. Buffalo, who just lost both of their tight ends, both Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. They lost both of their big-time tight ends, and now they're going to get what looked like an incredible tight end in Josh Brewster. That guy looked incredible. He had A's across the board. Right guard Frank Blackstock goes to Tampa Bay. And Detroit, who just lost possibly one of the best safeties in the league, Brian Branch, they lost him to Jacksonville. They're going to have to try to replace him. Andrew Minicale is going to have some pretty big shoes to fill. But under Dan Campbell, anything can happen. And it seems the Rams are going to go at quarterback. They have had enough of Tucker Turner. They don't believe in him after 1 year. Tucker Turner, apparently he did really bad to the point where Los Angeles, they were okay with trading down as long as they got their boy Hugh McPherson. They did just get Zay Flowers, so they might be trying to get back to that former glory. Matthew Stafford retired last year, so that forced them to draft a quarterback. Tucker Turner, he was drafted in the first round, but last year wasn't really that good of a quarterback class. I'm going to be dead honest. Tucker Turner wasn't the best quarterback pick for them. They could have probably went somebody else, but they just didn't have the opportunity to do that. And now the Super Bowl runner-ups get a corner. I don't think corner is going to be able to stop that Baltimore Ravens offense. But speaking of which, Baltimore, they had plenty of people they could have went after, but the guys they should have focused on was their own guys. They lost like the majority of their best players. They lost Marlon Humphrey. They lost Zay Flowers. They lost Kyle Hamilton to us, of course. But Baltimore, they can go in many, many different ways here. And they're going to go, what is it? They're going to go strong safety. So it seems they're getting another strong safety out of Notre Dame. So they think that he's going to be the next Kyle Hamilton. Well, you're wrong. Seems Ethan Crawford went. So Ethan Crawford, who looked like a pretty solid offensive lineman at center, he's going to go just a little bit before our pick, which is kind of sad. But hey, we do still have a chance to take Jorge Sierra. the next best option. And we do have a pick in just a couple more picks. Jorge Sierra, it was either him or Ethan Crawford. These two men are really good centers. Coach Xavier Foster seems to be pretty happy about that pick, and Jorge Sierra, who's slated to go rounds 3 to 4, he definitely deserved it. And wow, pick 54 at 54, he's hitting Dev. We are 2 for 2. I knew Jorge Sierra looked really good, and now this just basically confirms we can move Joe Tippmann over to left guard and just put Jorge Sierra at that offensive at the center position. Ranked 54 in true value and drafted him at 54. His combine looked incredible. So props to him to being hidden dev. And it seems Tim Milner, Miami's going to get their guy. I wanted to get Tim Milner, but I wasn't really going after him too heavy. So let's see who's going to be available at our pick. So we're going to have some guys definitely left over. We don't really need too much. Now, Julius Fields does look pretty solid. He has pretty good catching. Terrible spec catch. He's not the best, so we probably won't go him. Justin Diaz. He looks pretty solid. He doesn't have the best spin move, but he looks pretty okay. He is definitely a power back. He has pretty good. He's okay in everything except for change of direction. Now, whether this is a reach or not, it says he's around 3 to 4. What is our next pick looking like? Our next pick would be round 3, pick 22. So we can probably wait to go Justin Diaz. We can definitely look to get somebody else. Blaine Jarrett out of my Aggies, Texas A&M Aggies. He looks pretty solid. Now we can always use a middle linebacker. We can always do that. Blaine Jarrett looks pretty solid. He had an incredible combine. Now his ratings aren't the best, so he'll probably just be normal dev. But he had a pretty solid combine in pro day. Don't put the man down. His awareness is great. His tackling is great. When you've got to play against guys like Derrick Henry, a bunch of guys who can actually tackle quite well, you definitely need to have something like this. Our linebacking core isn't necessarily the best, but we do have one of the best linebackers in the AFC and possibly in the league. Jeremy Sherwood is still great, but Blaine Jarrett's good. And as I expected, he's normal dev, but he did pretty well at the combine. He looks like an overall pretty decent talent. At running back, I said I would probably take Justin Diaz. I mean, he looks pretty solid. And it said he was around 3 to 4 talent, so I didn't want to reach. He did okay. He didn't really do that good at the combine. Doesn't look like he's going to be that good, but he's definitely a power back. I wanted to take a chance on Justin Diaz. Why not? It's only a 3rd round pick. This is a point where you're not necessarily expecting him to be too good, but you're still expecting him to do something. And we might have just reached a little bit for Justin Diaz. Yeah, he's normal speed. I thought he was okay. Not the best, but okay. Philip McIntosh, I don't know why fallen so far. He doesn't have the best route running or catching, but he is a pretty decent guy. He's 6'4". Do we go another physical receiver? Now, we did just lose D-Hop, so we could basically replace him, but we don't really have that many fast guys on the team. So Philip McIntosh, I mean, he's still a good player. It's just we need somebody that's actually fast. Fastest guy seems to be have to have run a 440. So Tayshawn, Starks, and Lopez. Another running back who looks pretty solid. He said he's supposed to go day 3. Now, he is only 5'9". It says he's a elusive back out of Ohio State, so we could be seeing a Trevion Henderson type situation. He runs a 4.46, so that's good. He did pretty well at both the Combine and the Pro Day, so that's not terrible. His stats aren't the best, but we'll take a shot on him. I believe Quincy Irons can be a pretty good player. He just needs time to develop. He did pretty well at the Combine and Pro Day. He didn't do too bad. Maybe he can be the second or third, well, not second, but he can probably be the third or fourth string running back. Now, we did reach a little bit on him. He is only normal dev, but Quincy Irons, he doesn't look too terrible. He's an electric return man, concerns about his speed, but he's 91 speed and 89 excel, which I'm not too worried about. And average juke move, which, yeah. Now, Tayshawn Starks might not be the best player, but he did do pretty well at the Combine. We could just go after another receiver. He's not really that good at running routes or catching the ball, so if we have to, we can just move him to running back. That wouldn't hurt. But Tayshawn Starks, he could be an experimental player we work on. And he's actually rated 175 out of 182. He's only normal dev, but we definitely got the value for the pick right here. Tayshawn Starks. It says he drums easy catches, struggles to make catches in traffic, faster on tape. But we can work on that. Now, there's not really too many spots we can really go for here. We just want to look for a player that's pretty solid. I mean, Aaron Parrish doesn't look too bad. Looks like he could be a pretty decent kick returner. He doesn't have the best catching. Whether I have 6 running backs on roster, I want to see which one of them is going to be good. I don't know. I don't know if Justin Diaz is going to be good. I don't know if the other running back can be good. But I'm going to take a chance on Ezekiel Williams. I'm just taking a chance on a bunch of these guys, and it seems like he is not as good as previously thought. He does look pretty good, though. We could just convert him over to receiver because he can actually catch, unlike pretty much most of the receivers in this class. Unfortunately, Nico Matthias, who looked incredible at the Combine, like, he looked absolutely incredible. Like, he was top 3 in almost every single category. And it's just not that good. He's a great pass blocker. But, I mean, that's what we do most of the time anyways. We pass block. A to C injury, I didn't really expect him to be that good. I mean, I expect him to be a little bit better, but his run blocking is probably what's taken him down a lot more. But I'm actually not hating on this pick. A to C pass block, that's promising. And considering it says right here he's a great pass blocker, and he gets caught blocking air sometimes, which is not good. Solid base, solid power rush movement. Not bad. So Nico Matthias, it says D-, but I want to get a guy who can fill in, like whenever we're passing, he can definitely fill in. He can develop into something. It's saying bad pick. Yeah, right. He's only 22. He's got time to develop. I really wanted a guy who can pass block. And here's what our draft is looking like. Trevante Bridges is a 76 overall. So not terrible. Jorge Sierra is a 73, and then Blaine Jarrett's a 72 overall. Of course, Trevante Bridges has that hidden dev. This man, he could be something. Now, he is not going to be rocking that number 67, I can guarantee you that. But he's got 90 strength. Hidden dev is pretty good. Him and Shamar Turner should definitely light up the league. Let's see his motivation and tags. Day 1 starter and future starter. And he likes that we have Mike Ward at QB, so Mike Ward is essentially the center point of this entire team. His traits are safe tackler and gas guzzler, so he doesn't nearly have as many traits as you would think. But he is 21, a rookie out of Georgia. He looks incredible hidden dev. Last year we didn't get a single hidden dev player, but Mike Ward did develop up to a superstar dev, which is still pretty freaking crazy if you ask me. And then Jorge Sierra, he's also a hidden dev center, so we could have a pretty good center on our hands. He's only 73 overall. He's already rated in the top 32 centers, so he is considered a starting center in the league. So we'll just end up moving Joe Tippmann over to left guard. He's already good at that, so his pass blocking and run blocking is pretty solid. I do believe Jorge Sierra can definitely be one of the better offensive linemen on our team. Hopefully he doesn't play nearly as bad as Joe Tippmann did in the Ravens game. But we're not going to have to worry about that because the Ravens kind of lost most of their best players and they're having to basically rebuild. Blaine Jarrett, I mean, he looks good. He's 72 overall, so he is pretty solid. But he probably won't start over like Sherwood. But he definitely can be something. 87 tackle, 85 hit power, 85 excel. That's actually pretty solid. Now, he doesn't have the best pass rusher moves, or I guess he doesn't have the best rushing moves, but he is still pretty solid. 84 speed is not a terrible speed for a linebacker. He's only ranked 47, which isn't bad. Now, he does have day 1 starter and future starter. So, Blaine Jarrett, now I don't expect him to immediately start, but he definitely can make an impact if he plays pretty well in preseason. Justin Diaz was the best running back out of the 3 running backs that I chose. He had 89 speed, 91 speed. Quincy Irons, I mean, these guys don't look terrible. But let's just go ahead and look at how the NFL draft went. Let's see if there's any generational players. And I guess there was. Tennessee and New England took I wouldn't say generational, but they took pretty good guys. Chase Robinson, who I expected to be good, but not the 3rd best player in the draft. And then Patrick Hill, he seems to have been the best D tackle available. He was took in the 3rd round. I was not expecting anybody to be better. Well, he's not even hidden dev, but he is still pretty good. I want to check, see if New Orleans actually got their guy. Ooh, and it actually is pretty freaking solid. He is hidden dev 75 overall quarterback. Let's go check his dev trait. If they got their guy, then they got their guy. He's only a star dev, so he's going to be a pretty decent quarterback. And here's the number 1 overall draft pick, Billy Haynes. He is a hidden dev defensive tackle. Not nearly as good as what I thought his overall would be, but oh my goodness. 97 strength. That man's going to be a beast. Maybe Quinnen Williams did leave Chicago. I didn't see him in free agency, so maybe he retired. I don't know. I didn't see him retire either. So it seems like all the D tackles that went so far were actually pretty solid, but the most upsetting player in the 1st round, actually top 10, was Drew McKinley. Drew McKinley only 71 overall. Minnesota, I don't think they got their guy at D tackle. But we got to remember, left tackle, left tackle, left tackle. They went so many left tackles. And New England went left guard, and it paid off. It paid off big time. Now, Los Angeles, did go quarterback, and I don't think he's going to be much better than Tucker Turner. It doesn't seem like he's that high of an overall. He's not that fast. So the safety, Detroit tries to replace with Brian Branch. He has pretty big shoes to fill. Andrew Minikau. He's going to have a pretty big deficit. He's that's like trying to drop a single nerd candy into a big bowl of water and expecting it to fill it up completely. Now, why you're putting something like that in a bowl of water, I don't know. That's you, man. But the Rams, I don't think they got their guy at quarterback. I really don't. And Baltimore, they're trying to replace Kyle Hamilton with a strong safety named Jeremy Hall, who's only 73 overall. I don't think that's the best replacement. But here's the thing though. Hugh McPherson is hidden dev. Maybe they do got their guy. Maybe he sits behind Tucker Turner for a year and he plays. Okay, well, I should probably just shut up now because they definitely have their guy. Superstar dev quarterback? Oh boy, maybe it was the year for a quarterback. We don't need one though. We got Mike Ward. So here we are. We are in season 3 now. In the preseason. It seems Buffalo traded away Landon Jackson over to the Seattle Seahawks. Savion Williams could be on the move. Tyreek Hill denied Hall of Fame voting. That's interesting. But look who it is. Travis Kelce and Aaron Rodgers are Hall of Famers. Swifties are happy. They got the Taylor Swifties. They got their guy. Training camp. It is time for training camp. But first, just so we can make sure we can actually get a chance at our guys getting up a depth trait, we can put on the freaking, let's just say we can put on my little secret doohickey right here. But it's glad to see our former quarterback, A-Rod, is actually going to be in the Hall of Fame. Very much deserves it. But Tyreek Hill not getting it is kind of an interesting choice. Then again, they've made much weirder choices with who they put in the Hall of Fame. So I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, Tyreek Hill, you can think about it. If you think about it, he has won a Super Bowl. He probably could have won another one if he didn't go to Miami. But that's how the cookie crumbles. Tyreek Hill probably could have went to the Hall of Fame if he stayed with Patrick. And he actually didn't go back to Kansas City even after he retired. Or even after I would say, horrible stint in Miami. He just doesn't have the quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. Oh, Patrick Mahomes. If we can get Travis Etienne Jr. up to a superstar dev, that'd be awesome. Because we desperately need it. That'd be a much needed decision. Or that'd be something that was much needed. But it's just a shame that, well, he kind of isn't already. We got rid of Breece Hall to get a guy on the defense by the name of Trevante Bridges. So, hopefully Trevante Bridges can live up to the hype. I believe he's good. I believe Trevante Bridges can definitely be that 1-2 punch with Shamar Turner. He's definitely good enough to be a good D tackle. He's hidden dev, so who knows? He could be X Factor. He could be superstar dev. But Trevante Bridges looked like an incredible athlete. He's definitely got some major potential. It's just a matter of whether he can actually live up to that potential or not. But so far, we need to get our guys. We need to start developing our guys like up to better depth traits. If we can get like Travis Etienne Jr., if we can get him up to superstar, that would be an awesome dealio. And right now, it seems like we're actually gonna be able to do that, and he's gonna get it. He tries throwing it underneath when I tell him to. Hey, at least we can run out of bounds. It doesn't seem like the 200 is really working all that much. You can get 200 practically every time, and it wouldn't matter. Finally catches it in the 400. Finally, we get the gold. So it doesn't matter where we go now. Thank God he catches it. And if I can get Trevante Bridges, I don't know. See, I don't know his dev trait. It could be great. I don't know it though. So, can we actually end up getting him? Probably superstar. Because that'd be an incredible thing if we can get a guy who we just drafted, number 4 overall. That'd be awesome if we can get him, like, really good depth trait. I mean, we saw it last year with Mike Ward. He blossomed. He became a freaking MVP candidate. Superstar dev by his end of his rookie year. And he seems to be flying through our linemen. For a guy who doesn't have the best block shedding, he seems to be cooking. Oh, so now they run to the freaking gap. They don't even get to the gap. At least let them get to their freaking gap. Get what I get. Now, for these stats, Mike Ward played pretty good. Deshaun Watson played all right. He didn't throw an incompletion. And not your typical Mike Ward game. He would have probably thrown a little bit more. And he barely played Jalen Hurts at all. I wanted to give Mike Ward some playing time, and he very much got that. But for whatever reason, the game didn't automatically sub out my guys. I don't know why they didn't. I'm not trying to get my guys hurt. It just kept my guys in, and it seems the Philadelphia running back got 94 yards. Yeah, I'm not trying to freaking get my starters hurt just because this dumb game wants to keep them in. I thought they said something about adding mass subs. Uh, and also, why wouldn't you automatically sub out my starters? It's ridiculous. But I do think I do think Diaz did pretty good. Ezekiel Williams, he didn't really have that much luck because it was just a crappy O line at the. We didn't really block that well, I will admit. And for receiving, then again, we were playing against a bunch of bums. But even when we were playing against the starters, we were holding them. So this defense could be pretty impressive. So we do pretty well against the Philadelphia Eagles, and we are actually an 87 overall team. This is awesome. It's actually pretty cool to be doing this good. Now I do want to try to get the young rookie running back some starts, all three of them, and we actually end up beating the Rams. And if I look to the right, it says Evan Williams traded to the Steelers from the Packers. That's an interesting trade right there. Packers and Steelers have a storied history of hating each other. And it seems we're 2-0 in free agency right now. Against the Rams, it seemed like we went to toe with them until the fourth quarter, eventually coming out on top. Mike Ward playing a pretty good game. And he got sacked twice, and Deshaun Watson also got sacked twice, so the O-line, it seems like they're still struggling. Hugh McPherson seems to be the starter behind. Well, actually, it seems McPherson is the franchise QB. Interesting. So McPherson seems he played a pretty good game, but Turner, I think he played a little bit better. So that's going to be an interesting QB battle right there. McPherson and Tucker Turner fighting for that starting quarterback spot in Los Angeles. That's interesting. So basically things have gone off the rails in Los Angeles in the quarterback spot ever since Matthew Stafford retired. But our run game against our former player Breece Hall. Breece Hall's struggling a little bit. I wish the best for you, Breece, but we got our guy on defense, and he seems to have helped this team get over the edge just a little bit more. Travis Etienne, the man who basically replaced Breece Hall, he seems to be doing good. For receiving, Garrett Wilson dominating, Etienne dominating. Where's that rookie receiver? And the rookie receiver doesn't. Bryce Farrell. It's got to be somebody else. I guess it's Bryce Farrell. So the Rams took a good receiver. It just doesn't appear he actually played all that well. And now for defense, Trevante Bridges got a sack. That's epic. We definitely needed Trevante to get a sack, and it looks like he very much did. He came in pretty clutch. I was not expecting him to get a sack. Him and Shamar Turner produce a sack, which is pretty freaking good. Those two coming off the D tackle spot, that's going to be pretty scary. And then the fact that we already have we have a pretty solid linebacking core and a really good defensive back group. Now our corners could use a little work behind Sauce Gardner and Cordell Flott. Actually, Azariah Thomas, Cordell Flott, and Sauce Gardner are all above 80 overall. So we do have some pretty good corners. Linebackers are pretty good, about 80 overall for each. We have Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner. Yeah, that's pretty scary. But Kobe Turner getting a sack, Jared Verse getting 2.5. He's a great defensive player, but it just don't matter. Now for tackles, Kyle Hamilton leading the Jets in tackles, and everybody else just basically fell off the face of the earth. But Kyle Hamilton, he seems to be doing pretty good. And now we've got the final preseason game against the Vikings. They had to do some. I don't think they've had to do much, but they seem to be on a downhill spiral. They don't seem to be nearly as good as they did. They took a lineman in the first round, but they might have screwed themselves over. He was only 71 overall. It's not like it was anything special. So they might have wasted their first round pick and they reached quite a bit. But we are the Jets, and we are 87 overall. We are one of the best teams in the league right now. And it seems Ray McCloud is traded to the Jaguars. That's a good pickup by Jacksonville. Pretty solid receiver at number 34. When's the last time you saw a receiver with the number 34? I don't know, but it seems guard J.P. McDonald is going to be on the move soon. We got to cut 6 players, but I want to check out the game against the Vikings, see how we did. I want to see if we actually had any good players, like running back wise. I want to see if any of our guys that we drafted at running back produced anything. But we actually got a safety, so we were losing at halftime 10-9. Not your typical score for football. But then we just shut them out in the second half and they couldn't score. Deshaun, he didn't play the best, but he didn't play bad. Mike Ward, 198 yards, 1 touchdown. J.J. McCarthy ended up throwing a pick. If I had to guess, I know who. Famous Jameis Winston. He went to Minnesota. Mike Ward got sacked 5 times. That is not a good sign at all. If he's getting sacked that many times, we are doing something wrong. But Deshaun Watson didn't get sacked a single time, so that's pretty good. Pretty promising, I'd say. ETN and White playing good. It doesn't seem like our rookies really got any touches. Even though we are in preseason, it doesn't seem our rookies got a single touch, which is what I would have hoped for, but couldn't really get them any looks. Now for the receiving game. We basically dominated that game. Receiving-wise, heck yeah. But it just didn't work out. Now for interceptions, Azariah Thomas. You should have known. The only stat he actually put up was getting a pick. Otherwise, he didn't really do the best. Blackman getting a load of tackles. Sauce Gardner getting some. Sam Williams. Tyler Barron. So a bunch of guys. A bunch of random guys getting tackles. Where is our boy Trevante Bridges? I swear to God if he's hurt. Okay, he's not. He just didn't do that good this game. So, Sam Williams, Washington, Blackman, Barron, Adams, Cisco. We were the only team with TFL, so we're doing much better on defense now. Dallas Turner, he did kind of get 3.5 sacks, but Corey Short, okay, Corey Short with 2 sacks and a random getting a decent amount of sacks. Darius Washington getting a half sack, and Will McDonald had a farm and he had a half sack with our Darius Washington. So overall, a pretty successful preseason. That was much better than I thought. Mike Ward leaks, well, obviously it's preseason, but Azariah Thomas, he's got 2 interceptions. He leads the league in interceptions right now, and Mike Ward, he seems like he's ready for year 2. He's locked and loaded. I don't see why he should take a step back. But we got to cut 6 players. I think I already know who I want to cut. I'm going to cut some of my running backs. We have one too many running backs. JJ Tobridge, I don't remember ever getting you, bud. I don't think you're going to be good. Ezekiel Williams, we did draft him, But we just have a little bit too many running backs. We now have 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs. I want to try to keep at least 4. Maybe cutting Donovan Edwards would help. He's only 24. He's 73 overall. He's a little promising, but I don't think we're going to keep him. He's 91 speed, but I got some guys I want to develop. Now we're down to just 5 running backs. I think Braylon Allen, he might have a chance to go. I think for now I'm going to move Quincy Irons down to the practice squad. I don't want to cut him just yet, but I don't feel like keeping him. Now, we don't really care for fullbacks around here. We have a lot of receivers. We can't quite cut him. But he does have pretty solid catching. Quentin Skinner. Sorry, man, but we just gotta get rid of you. And now we got one more person. Let's go Jordan Gray to the practice squad. So after a pretty successful preseason going 3-0, we're going to look to kick off the season against the Washington Commanders. We are the significantly better team than they are, but will that matter? Baltimore looks like they're going to face off against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Baltimore will probably lose that game, or heck, they might win it. Who knows? They still have Derrick Henry and Lamar. They have their 2 core guys. They don't have Zay Flowers. They don't have many of their guys, which is kind of upsetting for them. And as you can see, we have Season 3 ready for action. If you have enjoyed, consider hitting that like and subscribe, as it does help out a lot with the channel. It helps me grow, and it helps us get out to more people so we can become something more than just what we are now. I do consider liking and subscribing if you have enjoyed to see more content. I will try to get these videos up as soon as I can. But as for now, that's going to be it for the New York Jets franchise heading into Season 3. As always, I am Yo Boy Baller1 saying, peace out, everybody.